Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. I told you yesterday that I was going to continue looking at this SummerSlam top 20 matches on the lead up until SummerSlam 2025. Made the video on The Rock versus Triple H ladder match from SummerSlam of 1998 yesterday. Today's number came out, number 13, CM Punk versus John Cena in the summer of 2011. I got some good feels about this match. Honestly, I don't think it's one of the greatest SummerSlam matches of all time, but living in that moment, you know, going to SummerSlam 2011, it was me, Miguel, and Luke, freaking Yaya 88, and Luke Cage 29, and we honestly thought we were living in the wrestling boom. I honestly thought that CM Punk was going to send WWE into the Stratocaster of the universe, and we were going to get the Attitude Era yet all over again. CM Punk had won the WWE Championship at Money in the Bank 2011. They had, put it out there that, CM Punk's contract was ending. He ended up winning the contract, or winning the championship on his last night in the company. And then he basically jumped to the guardrail. He blew Vince McMahon a kiss, ran all the way home, put the championship in his refrigerator, put a twit pic up, and basically said goodbye to the WWE. In the next couple of weeks, Punk would show up at Comic-Con, kind of like taunting Triple H at the Mattel reveal with the championship belt, saying that he was the real champion. We didn't really know what CM Punk was going to do. I mean, the build-up until him coming back, which I think was like 2 weeks later on Monday Night Raw, they were basically saying that they had to come up with a new champion. For some reason, they put up a championship tournament of former champions on Raw. The championship came down to Rey Mysterio and The Miz wrestling, and they didn't even put the match in the main event, which honestly made the whole show feel really screwy. Rey Mysterio won the title and immediately was challenged by John Cena. They said that they would do the match that night in the main event. That is just beyond the point of crazy. That was basically like the same thing as when like John Cena got drafted twice on Monday Night Raw, once to SmackDown and then once back to Raw. I don't know, it didn't really make a whole bunch of sense at the time, but Cena ended up winning the title back. Immediately after Cena winning the title, we had CM Punk come out of the back, Cult of Personality blasting, holding the championship up, basically showing that he was back. And we got our SummerSlam main event. We've got John Cena and we've got CM Punk going at it. And then just because there was a lot of buzz going on in WWE at the time and no one could take the spotlight away from this man, Triple H appointed himself the special guest referee. Once we got to SummerSlam, I don't think we really knew what was going to happen. But honestly, when it all went down, we knew something had happened, but I think that honestly, we kind of felt like we didn't get what we really thought we were going to get. Because in the end, we get Punk, winning the championship. He beats John Cena. And then Kevin Nash returns to WWE from TNA. We hadn't seen him in WWE, honestly, since like probably 2004, I would guess off the top of my head. He had gone off, he had made a couple movies, he was wrestling for TNA, and then sort of in a way of like trying to stop TNA from running the what was the name of that group? It was pretty cool, and they were gonna do a reunion thing, but then Booker ended up returning at the Rumble. Nash returned at the Rumble for one night, but this was like him coming back like almost for real. And the whole thing with Nash never really made sense anyways, because they're hyping up this Nash versus Punk match that we don't even get. I've heard some stories that Nash had some trouble with his heart, and that's the reason why the match was called off. I would think that before Nash even came back to WWE, he would have to do some sort of physicals or something like that, and wouldn't he have failed them before he even made his return to the company? But Triple H cut him off in line for the Night of Champions pay-per-view. Punk, who is like the biggest thing in the company, and every wrestling fan in the world is basically like wanting to come back to wrestling because the dude just seems so cool. Triple H beats him. I don't know. And then I think my timetable is a little bit off because they probably did the Night of Champions in September. Survivor Series would probably be November, around Thanksgiving. Punk just becomes the champion in Madison Square Garden. The man he beats, because of Kevin Nash coming down and hitting the jackknife bomb Punk, Alberto Del Rio. He cashed in his Money in the Bank. He became the champion. We all sort of left Staples Center that night, kind of like, I think Miguel was pumped because he was a big Del Rio fan. I liked Del Rio, but it was kind of like, yo, we got CM Punk and John Cena both walking into SummerSlam as champion in the championship match, and we don't even get one of them walking out. This is supposed to be like the biggest boom period for wrestling. It was just kind of like one of those things where every time it seemed like WWE was getting the ball right, whether if it was the Nexus, whether if it was with CM Punk, they just fumbled it and just couldn't keep it going. It was almost like they were scared of their own success. But Cena versus Punk at SummerSlam, it was a good match. It was a great main event. It made it like a destination pay-per-view where you wanted to go to the Staples Center to see that match. Just walking out with Del Rio being the champion, not knocking him because of like what people think about him today, what we know for not even from the last couple of years. I mean, the Paige and Del Rio stuff was more than a few years ago, but he's just not a good dude. I mean, that's just kind of the only way there is to put it. But I loved being there for that match. I thought it was going to be a huge moment for WWE, but it just kind of fumbled the ball. Almost a lot like the next year when they did Cena versus Daniel Bryan, where Bryan wins the championship and then he was cashed in on by Randy Orton. I mean, that's a big moment, and we all knew something big was going to happen that weekend, but because of the size of the John Cena's elbow, the injury he had at the time, I thought it was awesome that he still, went through with the match and gave Bryan that moment. But, what could have been, it could have been better, you know what I mean, if we had a healthy John Cena, going into that match. So I'm at the gas station. I'm going to fuel up and see you guys down the road. Peace out, everybody.